Right. Oh, we were in the wrong scene. Switch to that one. There we go. There's an Aladdin band. That is fine. You know what I forgot to do? That I always the one thing that'll actually help me grow as a channel, I forgot to do, is it'll just advertise myself. What am I running for today? It is on this channel, and I do believe that will do it. Yippee! All right, that is all good. So it's going to be Susan Ogni Neath for order, Aladdin, Merlin, and a mysterious third figure. Going to be our other band. Let me actually double check. Timer is on the Otters. Okay, so order is Otters. That'll be easy to remember then. Aries isn't Aries banned? Um, good job, guys.
Jab said, Scrim?
No, this is the set they had rescheduled for today. Um,
Also can rule 0 it.
what rule 0? What the Aries? The Aries is banned because it ignores displacement immunity.
If both teams agree to allow banned content, they ban.
Okay.
Can asterisk.
I did not know that. But it looks like the lobby will need to be remade.
Seems they did F up.
Yep. Because they first picked the Aries. I don't know if they messed up something else and that the Aries itself was just like reinforcement. Oh, we fucked up. All right. All right, I'm just gonna straight up take chat off the screen because I'm tired of seeing the spam bots because it's more than annoying. Overlay multi-chat be gone. Here we go. Actually, can I get Nightbot on pick? Or I can do bot tricks. I'll do bot tricks. Okay, so if I go to bot trick, let me just fucking do this. I am not going premium. Chatbot. There we go. Starting back up.
Andrew said, yummy.
Danger. Uh, okay. That should be fine. Okay. Now that they speedran the bands, they should be good. Boy, top pick. I mean, of the four of them, Odin, Merlin, Aladdin, Hou Yi, I guess Hou Yi is the one that you left her out of that. Hmm. Oh, wait a minute. If I move Tiamat to actually just be where she is, I could do that. I could do that. So that way it's like, she would
Jab
actually
said,
properly follow
clock
the
in middle
mouse.
is broken.
Well, the clock in the middle is always broken in Spectator. Don't worry about that. So if I actually take Tiamat and move her, like... So Tiamat, for everyone watching, is currently sitting in the middle, like right here. And then I have the window trimmed and then shifted over. So that way it shrinks down from this big figure in the middle over to down here. I might be able to just move Tiamat down here. So this way she
Andrew said,
properly follows the
yummy, are you
mouse.
going to get me a birthday gift?
I don't know when your birthday is, Andrew. Also, no, because money I don't have because no job. So, yeah. Polymoja into Sobek or Wukong.
Halloween you dip. Jab said, you big streamer though.
Yes, I'm a very big streamer. I make so much, I make so many pennies doing this job. I get paid, 419 pennies every 4 months.
Andrew said, exactly. Jab said, my favorite streamer's favorite streamer.
Hecate picked up into the Nemesis. I actually have been seeing a lot of Hecate, and I'm surprised by this. I don't know if her numbers are high, or if just in higher divisions they respect her a lot more than we do down the lowers.
Andrew said, here yummy.
Mm.
Thank you for the 12 long months of subscribing, Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew. Did that double overlap notifications?
Jab said,
What was the
need
second
to
thing
do
that I
more sub
saw?
duels.
What? What did I see? Jeb, you need to start streaming so that way it could be that I give subs to you if you win. That's what
Andrew
needs to
said,
happen.
gay.
Yeah, yeah. But I appreciate that a lot, Andrew. Thank you. It's also 12 months.
Jab said, but then I have to make it.
Okay, number one, you have to make it to affiliate, which is 50 followers and average viewer count of 3.0 or above, I think it is. Which, with you being in the league, I feel like that's not going to be that hard to do. You'll have me as a passive. You can probably easily get Nerf as a
Will be
passive.
easy.
Yeah. Oh, so so Scylla, when passively animating, just has her dogs out. Interesting. Yep. Interesting.
Can't let a good borrowing session end due to
Come on,
fatigue
animate again.
on
One more time.
Demi/Angelo/Joe/Yami/nerfed.
Yep. Yeah, that you'll get that real quick. It's literally just a matter of you starting, and we can get you there. Looking for a possible 4-man invade. 5-man if Scylla catches up.
Andrew said, I can help if needed.
Oh, it looks like they're spotted out ahead of time. Oh, no, not spotted out ahead of time. People are trying to make action happen.
I do owe Yami a favor.
Looks like they're not going to go for the invade. I mean... You know what? I'm not going to say it. I am not going to say what I thought about that attempt at an invade. Yeah. Actually, no. Fuck it, because I'm not in Athens, so I don't care. I don't know about that pathing, because there was multiple opportunities if we go back over to their support. And then we... Was it Z before we came? Yeah, so if you're coming from this way, you run the risk of getting spotted out as you're coming in this way, which is a major issue. Can I... There we go. Back to mid. Now, them not getting spotted out that way was interesting, because I thought all of them pathing through that way, they would have absolutely been caught out. But, listen, no one lost anything, so we're not really going to call anything.
Jab said, should go around back camp way.
Yeah. Path around through Gold Fury Pit, hide in bush.
Into between
Moja
towers.
did go to auto the bush just to check. Boycusson lane doesn't really have too much going on, and I feel like it's going to be an extremely boring lane because it's Nemesis versus Wukong, where Nemesis, you don't want to hit the gods, that way you can steal their HP. Wukong doesn't want to hit Nemesis in order to make sure that their HP doesn't get stolen. So it's really not going to be a fun lane over there, I'd imagine. Now, over in mid lane, Scylla is already I'm actually kind of impressed that she ran out so fast. I know Conduit allows for early clear, but you really do not want to run this early. I wonder if the proc damage and early clear is worth... We're getting the first blood already, 2 minutes in. Second, nearly coming up. First blood credit does go to Tito. And Wukong gets picked up as a response over in the solo lane. Does appear to be a Yogi's first item going for the Yemoja. A Tearfang for the Kali. Bloodforge for Wukong. And honestly, I'm surprised that we're seeing this much action this early. I've been told that Athens games are particularly slow. Good reverse with the shield from Nemesis to reflect all of that damage back. Throwing the crush out just to clear, but still very low on mana. Cannot spam abilities as much as she'd like to. Luck good onto Emoja. Not much follow-up from the Huayi. Cooler sitting in the bush, just waiting for it. I don't know if they know, because that ward is not peeking into the bush. Mojo does step up, dive in from Hori, pluck just shy from the Sobek. Bella needing to back here now that she has no mana whatsoever. Not even 5 minutes into the game, and I was prepared to call for Gold Fury with how much pressure the Otters seem to have. Slinging abilities at the Sakate. That magical shield doesn't do anything to mitigate any damage from the Uller. However, she doesn't really need to do any because this Scylla is coming in. Does force the ult. Gets a bit of chip damage off. And that will stack up her ultimate by 1. For, if I remember correctly, 5 extra damage and 2% scaling. Yep. Once she maxes... Okay, I guess this tower really likes that minion. Interesting. Okay.
Andrew said, Yami, could you get me a $6 birthday gift?
Do you realize that the shipping alone would likely cost more than $6, right? Like, I could ship you an envelope with nothing in it.
Not with Prime.
That's true, that's true. We're looking to try to get some invades off, but I don't know how much you're going to get against the Kali. She is the early game, so she's not getting too much value out of her auto attack chain just yet, because there's not many items online. Just the Manchi Bow benefiting. It is going to be a Transcendence first item, not the Hydras that I thought it was going to be on this ruler. Polynomicon first item on the Scylla. Regrowth first item almost completed for the Sobek. Sunbeam on Hori. Interesting going Sunbeam without Death's Toll. Meaning you will not have the mana regen come late game to supplement that item. Wukong forced the ult over in the solo lane. Nemesis hasn't even needed to ult yet. He's just going to heal up in the cloud and walk away. Tier fin completed for the Kali. Devos for both solo laners. Gem of Focus. An item that was recently buffed. Plenty of cooldown on it. However, no mana regen and not that much power. So we're gonna have to hope that she's consistent with hitting these abilities. Mojo did go the Yogis and a Sunbeam Bow with Death's Toll from the Artemis. One of the more standard builds we tend to see.
Your tower is under attack.
I sent you what I would like.
I will take a look momentarily.
If you can.
Kali versus the Uller in the jungle. Wukong does come in time to help save. Nemesis is here, hoping to try and pick something up, but they will peel off instead. Two are looking at the mid laner for the Otters. Kali jumps in, but Scylla jumps right out in order to dodge out. Scylla does land a second crush and gets the Polyproc in order to clean up the Hekate very quickly. Surprise turnaround in the 2v1. Wukong does have that ultimate up again, if he would like to regen his HP back up. So I assume he'd more like... Sunbreaker comes down, with Tusk as a counter. He is unable pick up that Artemis. Left with about 200 HP. Unfortunate.
Discon76 thought it was wise to use 250 points on Stree each.
Alright, alright.
Your left tower is under attack.
Two of them stun each other out. Not much gonna happen off of that.
Your left tower is under attack.
Hello, welcome on YouTube. In the solo lane, does look like Holly wants to step up. Stun just off the mark. Wukong does get up into the somersault cloud in order to get away. Does he know that Kali's still here? Stun good on the Tiger. Axe just shy onto the Kali. Health stolen away by the Nemesis. Scylla looking to make something happen here. Stun is good into the root. Aegis does clear it out. I'm a Monster is able to hit. But it was the final auto able to clear it up thanks to that Aegis on the Nemesis. I personally just don't like Nemesis from like a design standpoint. It is not very good. It's literally just, oh, I don't want to hit you because then you'll do more damage to me. Oh, I don't want to do damage to you because if I do damage to you, I won't heal as much and take as much damage, take as much HP away. It's just... I won't say poorly designed, because it is very interesting in design. It's just not very well balanced. It is going to do Spear of Deso, second item on the Scylla. Looking to be a Sanguine on both the support and solo laner for the Otters. Likely an Oboe for this Hoi-Yi. I'm going to say a Hydra's on the Uller. Regrowth bot for the Nemesis. Going to be a braggy second item on the Kali. Soul Gem for the Hecate. And Tearfing building up more item procs on this Artemis. If I do this, yeah, V is last one, take damage, got it. The Mojo ult does catch the Croc, stop him from dashing, but the ultimate was able to get him out. Meanwhile, Scylla does get picked up in the mid lane. Did use her ultimate to try to escape, but it was not enough. It's a lot. It's a lot slower paced trying to comment when it's just one person. Usually I have like 3 or 4 people in here. Ruler is looking to steal. Unable to get abilities back up in time. Trying to catch him out. Stun is good on the Kali. Gets the beads out. And is getting away with murder. As their Sova gets chunked out instead. Ultimate out from the Artemis. Beads from the Hoi-Yi. Followed by the Sunbreaker. Is able to get the kill on the Artemis. But does get picked up. Ruler just get the revenge kill onto the Emoja. Stun good onto Hecate. And so is the kill. I don't know why my mouse was still free there. Looking at the items, second
Jab
item...
said, the OLJG is carrying.
Oh, so it would seem. Though, I won't say anything bad about this Artemis because she is putting out the damage, as far as I can tell, compared to her opponent. I am curious what the thought process is with the not going death's toll on the Hoi. Theoretically, the upgrade for Hunter's Cowl is better as a team item, because it gives you an aura attack speed and aura lifesteal, and a very big aura lifesteal at that. I believe it's 10%, last I checked, for a total of 15 to the wearer, which does make the Sanguines hit even harder by an extra percent per tick of HP. Beads out from the Artemis. The wall is good! And does clean up the Artemis just because she didn't walk the other way. Kept walking into the wall. Unfortunate for her. Holly is here by herself. Uller misses the axe. Execute. Is good from the Sobek. I actually am unsure of that interaction if the execute would prevent death there, because I know it does not prevent it on Khepri revives. I'm going to assume that it will, though. Ruler does jump out, stun good from the Moja, pluck good onto the Nemesis in order to buy some time. Sobek doing what he can to body block,
Callie is
and he
immortal.
does get the Uller out. Alright, so he wouldn't be immune to it. Got it. Sobek does get the pluck, but it is going to be a beads out from Umoja. Kate ult does pull the Sobek in. Umoja gets picked up by the monkey. Nemesis does get an ultimate onto Basila, but does get crushed and poly-autoed in return. I actually didn't know that Barry ult prevented executes. The more you know. Also, I don't want I want damage. Thank you. Looking at the items once again. Third item, Pendulum Blade coming out of Nemesis. Also. Executioner coming out of Kali. Totem of Death on Hecate, which is very interesting, because I don't think of her as a rapid ability also spammer to keep up the uptime. Unless you are running Aspect and the abilities are slinging from the enemies. Actually, that would be a good counter into an Uller, wouldn't it? Sun good onto Moja, keeps her away from her portal. And it is just going to be a nice kill. Because of Craze going over Tito. Zilla is looking to zone, does step right on top of a ward. It is going to be a Gold Fury going over to the Cyberpunk Otters. Looking at the gold, not much of a difference at 16 minutes in. Kali getting a bit of invade going. Nemesis coming to do the same thing with the blue. Meanwhile, over in the duo lane, Artemis just going crazy, picking up 2. Did have to use Tusky, but did get both ultimates out of that. And is still pushing up the lane. Stun from Kali, good onto the Uller. Beads out on the Kali, beads out on the Uller. Crush, or I'm a Monster, onto the Kali for a bit of damage. I will say, these I'm a Monsters are hitting, which is the main thing you want to see on your Scyllas. Unfortunately, they don't have enough damage just yet. I would be curious to see what the stack total is, because I believe we're at 5 now of confirmed hits of I'm a Monster, leading to 25 extra base damage and 10% extra scaling. And Crush is no good onto the Pyromancer. Order side does secure. I'm seeing a lot of Gem of Focus. Not obviously the 2 mid laners have picked it up, but I've been seeing it more and more. An item to rival Chronos Pendant in terms of cooldown, you do love to see it. Though I do believe Chronos has more int and slightly more CDR. Plus the internal passive to give more cooldown. once every 10 seconds. I'm honestly surprised we're not seeing a double up of CDR. Although, to be fair, you would need quite a bit of mana regen in order to keep up with it. Actually, I guess that would make Aspect Scylla quite good, huh? Just constantly spamming abilities. Stampede being looked at next item from the Sobek, with Regrowth already being picked up with Moja. We were slightly ahead with the Otters. Now the Jesters are pulling ahead. Combo good with Scylla half-healthing a tank. And that's just standard Uller burst damage. Sobek holding Yamoja in and does get the execute as well. I mean, if you're playing as the Royal Jesters here, you are terrified of this Uller because of the damage he can pump out. One full combo, and he will ruin your day. The 3 on Artemis barely even scratching the shield itself, not even touching the HP of the Uller. If this Sobek gets a pluck, that's a kill. Pluck into the Tusky is a choice, but we will allow it. Unfortunate, that is a counter pull by the Royal Jesters for this Fire Giant. Scylla does dash away. They're still pulling at 3k. Looking at 2. Scylla does beat Sunbreaker out from Hoi Yi. Nemesis goes in. Tito does confirm. That was an interesting interaction with Scylla. It looked like she just stayed in CC immune in her base form for a bit. And Uller is looking to get away through the TP. I thought he got away. Beats out from the Hecate. If he gets enough cooldown, he can turn this on the mid laner. He knows that the enemies are coming. But he's gonna go in anyway. Stun missed. Auto cancels are good. Jump is down. Beads used. And Nemesis is here to clean it up. Unfortunate. But honestly, being that deep in their side of the field, you are happy to see that you at least get a kill out of it. 8, 2, and 5 on this Uller. No one can stand in his way at this point.
Also got dagger used.
Yep, oh, yeah, you are right. That is peeling Fire Giants. Oh, no. Sorry, it was weird. I thought no one on this team had Fire Giant, but I guess they all died with it. Or were dead. Dagger off of the Hecate, who had stolen it while they were up there. It is only Scylla left with Fire Giants. And I'm not going to say that Scylla isn't putting in work, but you were definitely more scared of the Uller, and are happy that Uller doesn't have the Fire Giant rather than the Scylla. If you have to choose between the two of them, one of them is definitely more a problem in this game. Scylla does get jumped on and stunned. And it is going to be Yamoja getting credit for the kill. Stun good. Onto the Nemesis. Not going to do too much in the way of damage because this is a tanky Nemesis. Kali jumps out as the Uller steps up. Uller is looking at Frisky with this Kali. This is the 3. Trying to get it over the wall. I mean, Tito's just going big dick mode, just like Teddy Roosevelt once said. if my keybinds would let me switch. Got. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I was trying to switch to the Wukong that whole time. Now, Wukong is going We Heal, interestingly enough, going both Devos, Sanguines, and Umbral, getting plenty of lifesteal in the build. I'll be curious if he's going to go a Barbed Carver. Because that would allow him to burst people much faster, especially going Aspect. He could even full combo with Tiger 2 or 1-2 and get quite a few auto attacks off with heavily increased damage. Kali looking for this Uller at the moment. He is going to pull back. Is going to be a Heartseeker next item on the Uller. Sent Pen ready on the Scylla, but Hakata has opted instead go right into Tahuti instead of the Obshard. We'll see if that pays off for her. Ult out from Hakate, not able to hit any marks, but does leave the portal on the floor. Uller is getting picked out and does get cleaned up. Credit does go to Hakate. Wukong still in the solo lane. Feeds out from the Scylla. This monkey is going to have plenty of protections when he's nearby his team. Scylla is just sitting there, maybe having some internet issues. Oh.
Your right tower is under attack. Your right tower
Scylla?
has been
Okay. I think Scylla's back.
Booming out.
Possibly. Who do we give credit to for the term boom, by the way? Is that Boom 555 that we're referencing when we say they're booming the lobby? Or is there someone else that I don't know about? Public is looking up to contest, does get walled up by Emoja, and no chance of getting it stolen. Close to a 10k lead for the Royal Jesters. Probably does get the Hissn Fatalis online. Gold Fury now up. Both teams starting to head towards it. Actually, just the Royal Jesters is all the damage just left. Thus, Wukong does not have a Sunder, only has a Bead, so if they try going for it, he cannot out-secure this Emoja. Unless he's very high in the strength department, of which he is not. It is going to be a bird farm for the Wukong until he ults again, which means only increased cooldown reduction on the 1, 2, and 3. So no knockup on the 2, no extra attack speed on the 1. Let's see what this team can do with it. Because Nemesis just goes right in and does not care about the enemy team. Luckily, Phoenix goes down instantly. Does look to be a Gold Fury call for the Royal Jesters. Gold Fury is secured. Pyro is up on the board. CP Otters looking to dance for it. But are instead backing up. This Scylla keeps standing still, and I'm not too sure what's going on with them. They seem to have disconnected and reconnected. Yeah, this still is not having a good night tonight.
Destroyed the pyramids. Your right
It is going to be
Phoenix is
Pyro
under attack.
Bomb hitting the right Phoenix, the last one up, and they're just going to walk at the right lane. With that red lane gone, just mid Phoenix to come back up. And at this point, it's just going to be stacking int pots, or stacking 3k pots, rather, of both int and strength. For majority of the Royal Jesters. I am curious if I was right in the call of how much lifesteal does come from the aura. I know it's 30% attack speed. I'll have to double check once the item does come in. Beads out from the Sobek, forces the AoE beads out from the Umoja. Probably hiding around the corner. They're really trying to defend this Phoenix. Crush good from Scylla onto Umoja. Nemesis does go in. Umoja gets the ult. Magi's popped. Wukong does get up into the air. Sobek had to use the ult just for CC immunity. Lifesteal from the Nemesis going very hard. Between that and her ult, she healed quite a bit. Crush from Scylla does chunk her down quite a bit. Until Uller hits her with some damage to heal with that shield. Unfortunately, that Phoenix did go back down. And it's just a farming game for the Royal Jesters. Whittling down the enemy team until they can start chipping at Titan. And every time that Phoenix goes down and comes back up, that's just another camp for them to farm at this point. Fire Giant seems to be the call from the Royal Jesters.
Titan is under attack.
He has not bought an item in quite some time. Actually, let me check. He's not buying any int pots or strength pots either. I'm not sure what is going on with his money. Beads out from the Hoi. Does go back in. Beads out from the Artemis. Sunbreaker does fall down. Finds 3. Still misses the ult. Unfortunately, beads out the Kali. Hoi damage is not going to be enough to get through the destruction. And now it's looking to be a 1v4 for the time being. Until that Scylla gets back up. Stun is good. On the 180. Jumps over the wall. Tito is just taking them for an adventure. Chipping the mid laner for some damage. They're going to go back onto this Fire Giant. Holly is shredding it. Ruler does open the door, looking for a target. Magi's popped from the Kali. Not voluntarily. And it is going to be a fire giant pickup from the Royal Jesters. Tito still dancing around. And that reflect damage from that Nemesis, plus Sundering Axe, will be enough to kill. Dagger, now resting on the Hecate. With 2 birds. Seems like the Oyi was saving up for the Titan's Bane. Unfortunately, not able to get it just yet. 30% attack speed plus 5% lifesteal. Much less lifesteal than I remember. But they did recently squish all of the lifesteal items. Scylla, I'm hoping not lagging out again. Stampede out from Umoja. Lands in the trap the Wukong. Ults out immediately. That Phoenix gets deleted. Mid lane about to come up as well. Right lane still up. They are looking for right lane first.
Your right Phoenix is under attack. Your right Phoenix has been destroyed.
Right lane goes down without any contest. Scylla once again staying still. They have to be having some internet issues tonight. Also, I love how all the Fire Giant buffs move out the profile picture, except for Artemis. Instead of having it like where they're like next to where their names should be. I feel like next to the names would be the smarter place to put it. This way, it only moves the names around, doesn't move the HP or portraits. That's just me, though. Artemis did, in fact, go for a big dick Deathbringer last item. I'm surprised that they went that instead of an Executioner. There is a Nemean on the Wukong. Breastplate as well. With that ultimate, you will be healing quite a bit of HP. Three Magi's actually on the Chaos team. Nemesis somehow popped her own... Ah, that would be Umoja using her 3 and popped her teammate's bubble. Which is an unfortunate thing that can happen. Mid lane does go down for free. Kate just slinging abilities over the wall. Chunking out the enemies. Bubble popped on the Emoja. Emoja just taking all the aggression onto her and is not phased. AoE's forced out. Pluck. Oof. I mean, a lot happened at the end there. But all I can say is there was not much CP Otters could do towards the end there. I will grab snags of the screenshots. Alright. And that is game number 1 going to Royal Jesters. Now we're just waiting for the lobby to open back up. Be either Timer or Killcam Kenny, I believe, is the other captain. Come on. Alright, lobby is up. Once again, I don't know how beneficial that 30% attack speed aura is going to be, especially with that team comp, referencing the Hoi picking up the Leader's Cowl. It is called Leader's Cowl, right? Let me actually go to a Hoi, and we're going to look at the exact stats. So, doing the exact items that he had, was you, was Sunbeam, was Oboe, Tearfang, Eggsy, Teens. It was going to be a last item Titans. The Relic of Beads. It does give you an extra 105%, so it gets you to roughly a 2.35% attack speed. So I'm assuming that that's how that is mathing out. With aura of 5 to 10% lifesteal when nearby allies, Sunbeam doing decent amount of damage. I think that the base lifesteal and percent HP refresh from Destal is just gonna always be better, especially with your team comp. I don't, and this is just like me talking from someone that does not play ADC. I think yeah, ADC should be selfish, shouldn't play around their team, should do the maximum DPS, self sustain, whatever to keep themselves going longer so they can keep doing DPS. I love the concept of leather cowl, but I don't think it's going to be enough because the only one that you're really going to benefit the attack speed of is Uller in any way that actually matters. Wukong kind of, but he's also going to be in melee range, meaning that it's going to take quite a bit of damage in doing so. Now we're just waiting for the lobby to start up. I'm also still curious about the Totem of Death from the Hecate. Actually, something that I found out earlier from Nerf is that Hecate 1, if you mark an enemy, you do bonus damage. So I suppose that does count as shredding protections. Think of a Fafnir 2, but instead of applying it to an ally, you're applying it to the enemy instead. Interesting. I don't hate that. Hmm. Ugh. And of course, moderation. Mod Bottrick. Is Buttricks not a mod on my kick? Hold on. Would please. Go to OBS. Okay, let me disconnect then reconnect, I guess. There we go. Bottrick has been added. Good. So it is going to be Yemoja Kali Neathbane, Uller Merlin, and Mysterious Third Character once again. It is going to be the Aladdin. That does mean that Odin is let through. Do they top pick the Odin? Or the CP Otters? No, it is going to be Yi picked up once again. I'm going to only assume that Odin comes in here. It's going to be an Artemis pickup and a Susan pickup. Looking for an Agni, likely going to go to the ADC. And the Odin is going to go to Tito. I don't hate the Odin here, especially into two heavily... I won't say that Susan's heavily immobile, but if you get the TP down, he does get locked inside the cage because you cannot dash out of that without a shell active. Kate's still a double picked up, likely going to be a Kate support, actually. If I had to guess. Sure. Go to the settings for this, please. Poseidon Kraken is going to be the last two on CP Otters, with Sun Wukong being the last lock-in for the Royal Jesters. I'm interested to see how the Hecate performs, unless this is going to be a Scylla support, of which I would also be interested to see. And it does appear to be a Scylla support. Not much. Now, I will be curious if this Scylla does sling her ults on cooldown. Just get that extra bit of damage every time she uses it. Even if you don't get a kill, just getting the poke damage will be nice starting level 5. Susan starting T2 into, I assume, Hydras. Bold strategy. Well, you're looking to get a little frisky early on. Sorry, Susan does back out of that choice and instead goes for T1 plus starter. I'm going to say, not going a junk starter is very bold strategy. Alright. Jeb, if you're here, I did just now set up the exclamation point clip command for future use. Don't know how well it will work, or even if it does work. We will see in the future, won't we? This will be an interesting lane. Especially with an Agni ADC Cabrakan support versus a Scylla support Artemis ADC. Well, you're trying to get active very early. That's a good bit of damage onto Hecate. It is one nice thing about Cabrakan support versus an Artemis. You can just walk at them and pop your one if they try to trap you. Dash in from Scylla. Crush is good. Sorry, not Crush. What is Cabrakan 2 called? Refraction shield. My mistake. Poseidon looking to make something happen. Does get stunned out before anything could happen. Poseidon now on the receiving end, and First Blood does go to Kavika. Second to Teddy. That is 2-0 for the Royal Jesters. Susan looking for an invade, but does find everything to be ripped apart.
Your left tower is under attack.
I do believe we're actually going to be seeing a Lifebinder first item on this Wukong. I personally am more of a fan of Int Wukong when it goes aspects, rather than Strength Wukong. Especially if you're trying to play for that long-range poke. Although, if you are playing for long-range poke, that means you are building more as a mid laner than as a typical tank. And in doing so, you are sacrificing quite a bit of tankiness on your team, leaving your support as the only tank there. Hey, Stick.
What's up?
Real Jesters versus CP Otters, Athens Division.
Athens, got
Your
it.
right tower is under attack.
Let's play a game, but you know, I'll watch
Yep.
some OSL.
Yes.
When that is.
Beads out from the Hoi. Hekate did ult to get some damage going. Hoi just barely able to get the jump off. Gets 2 beads out on the Poseidon ult. And Susan's just
That is a
barely
fast
able to get
Poseidon,
up.
Holy shit.
Yep. And it's only going to be faster because he's going Gemma Focus first item. Kill over to Agni. But the duo lane just has bodies piling up. I really need to go get some water. My throat's already hurting.
I'm guessing Agni is the ADC for order.
Correct. Poseidon trying to get extra frisky in the enemy jungle. But the rest of the Royal Jesters are coming up. Susan does not quite have the damage to confirm.
Holy speed!
And Poseidon will execute himself to tower. Unfortunately, was not off the timer for the Hekate. Credit does go to her for the kill.
Andrew said, Susan.
Yes, Susan. If you watch Naruto, it's Susanoo. Susanoo is the way they pronounce it, but we call him Susano. I call him Susan. A lot of people call him Susan, actually.
I really like that new Agni skin.
Oh, yeah, the fucking obsidian
I had
Agni
to-
skin.
I just happened to get the gem swap, so I was like, screw it, I'll buy it.
Great ults from the Scylla, getting plenty of damage out. And that is going to be kill credit to her on the Agni. And while Artemis did pick up the Bracken, but did trade out her life in return. This Hoi is determined to make these bounces work and is rewarded for it. Constantly throwing them out. And committing war crimes while we're at it. Gate does pop the ult. Brings... You can... Hoi can walk through his own wall?
Wasn't aware that was even the case.
I thought you had to refire it to bring down the wall. Okay, that was interesting to watch.
What, just the
Artemis
raw
just
ult?
getting the one sun that comes down that gets stuck as a wall. Apparently he can just walk through that. Unless that's a spectating bug where the orb didn't despawn after he refired, which could be the case. Is going to be a
I believe
Gold
that.
Fury call from the CP Otters. Scylla is here. Does not have ult yet. Just about to get it as her mana fills up. Odin ult to buy some time. Scylla does dash out. And Akate does get picked up for free. Scylla is half health. Ult just about ready. Walks up. And does not get any credit for kills. Or for the hits of her ultimate, rather. I mean, also no kills too, but you know.
Your right tower is under attack.
Well, I'm getting a lot of phrases to ban over on Kick because they keep throwing up new bot messages. So I'm just gonna keep grabbing snippets of them. Still support trying to make something work. Get some damage onto the hoodie, but it's not going to be all that much. Meanwhile, Susan does get a pickup over in the solo lane against this Odin, who is going the double proc damage build. Going first Mystical and now Sanguines. Wukong, however, hasn't backed up for an item. Is about to, I'd assume. Get the in hand. Yep, Wukong does have 2,400 to buy with. Villa does use the Thunder in order to confirm the Oracles. Meanwhile, over in the duo lane, ADC is trading beads for beads. As well as ultimate out of Artemis. Low HP on the Artemis. Can the Agni get there in time? Root and slow from the Artemis is enough for a good amount of damage, but does get picked up. Scylla coming to clean up the Agni. I realize that it's so much harder to single cast. Poseidon able to clean up. And does get killed by... Remind me of his Typhoon. I was about to call it a Maelstrom on Susanoo. Yeah, I haven't, like, single casted in a hot minute. Literally everyone said no to casting. So I've just been yapping for a hot minute, and it's been hurting.
It's unfortunate.
Okay. Yeah. Also, I need to turn the audio on, so that way when I tab out... Yep, okay, we're good. Both supports just looking at each other. Were you here when a few others were talking about Learning Bow being a good first item in ADCs?
Was this like a few
Uh,
minutes, hours ago?
Like, this was a few, like, days, if not weeks ago. Zilla does get credit for a
I
kill.
was there for that discussion.
I only ask because we do have it yet again in this game. Odin ult is able to cage 2. Shell does get people out.
Did he go learning bow first?
Yes, on Agni. Actually, does that stack Agni passive on the target?
Your team has destroyed the pyramid.
Susan able to pick up the Agni very quickly. I'm literally having to... I'm swatting bots down like flies. Like, they're popping up a lot right now. Christ.
Are you streaming on Kick too?
I'm streaming on 5 platforms. Scylla ult does get some damage on Kabrakin. Not enough to kill, though. Sunbreaker was used all this fight just for a Naga that's down to 1k HP. Order does try and re-pull it, but Susan comes in. Odin Cage was able to help keep the Susan in place for long enough to get the kills.
Your left tower is under attack.
1v1 turns into a 2v1 against this Artemis. And Poseidon does get another kill in the mid lane against the Scylla.
Your right tower is under attack.
I gotta say, I am not a fan of Scylla support myself. Do you have any say about it?
I've never tried it. I don't have a lot of experience around it either, so I can't really form an opinion on that.
Gold cure. Your right
Might just be
tower
because
is
I'm a
under
shitter,
attack.
but
Quite possible, quite possible.
I have seen people play solo support. It's not awful from what I've seen, but I don't have any extensive opinions on it. I just feel like
Go ahead.
you have to know how to play solo regardless to make solo support work
Oh, absolutely.
as a mid laner. Like if you don't have any experience with solo as a mid laner, you're not gonna do well with her in support. You'll see a lot of
There's
support
going to
players
be
play
an
mid lane.
instant ult from the Wukong against the Poseidon ult. Does jump out. No more actions will be taken against that player for the time being. Barbed Carver, third item on Hoi mid, followed up after the Oathsworn and Pendulum Blade. Interesting. I've been seeing quite a few Hoi mids lately.
Hoyi is just like
Is
I just feel
disgusting.
like he's a very flexible god.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's also become one of my bans for ranked.
Oh yeah, I feel like you need to ban Hoi currently.
My two insta bans are Ares and Hoyi.
Well, Ares you should ban because of his game-breaking bug, but, you know.
Yeah.
Pyromancer does go over to the CP Otters. Odin ult onto 2. Poseidon ult clips the Susan, living on 1 HP. Poseidon is going to chase that out and likely going to get that kill. Wukong does pick up 3. I was trying to see whose name it was that got picked up. I am curious if the Scylla is going to go into Book of Thoth and for Soul Reaver, her last 2 items.
Your middle tower is under attack.
I'm not too familiar with the build path of a Scylla support, so I would not know.
Your team has destroyed a right enemy tower.
Now, I can only assume that it doesn't, but do you think Artemis just soloing Tito over in the solo lane, do you think Book of Thoth passive procs off of the mana gained from Scylla aspect? I don't believe so, correct?
I don't think it does. I could be wrong though.
Because it says mana from items. Actually, in Smite 1, I think Book of Thoth is just mana.
Just any kind of regen.
No, just Book of Thoth is mana based.
Yeah, I meant mana, not
Yeah.
anything.
Still ultimate in aspect is based on the amount of mana you do have. which it would give you 1,000. I mean, if you really want to be funny, you could go Book of Thoth and Transcendence, but, you know, we're not doing that here.
Nah.
The two would feed into each other, however. Which I'm surprised we don't see that out of more hybrid full damage solo laners like a Wukong going both Transcendence and Book of Thoth is the name of the item that I nearly forgot.
Haru said, Yami, stop throwing the OSL games SMH.
I'm not throwing OSL games. I'm not even allowed to play in them, apparently. I apparently also didn't get wavered either, but that's a story for a different day. Villa does use her ultimate for extra damage on the Fire Giants. Killcam Kenny is able to secure a dagger onto Artemis. Odin Cage does get the Hecate, but it's not going to be enough as Typhoon hits onto the Odin. And Sunbreaker will be trying to zone out. Agni does pick up the Susanoo.
Clearly intentional ending confid 12 Otters.
I feel like every time I stream, I need to rebalance the audio on DTS. Yeah, there's no world in which they catch up to this Poseidon. Because it's Poseidon. Agni looking for some damage. Not gonna find it. Tusky does force out the beads. And Scylla did use the ult just for CC immunity and does get out for free. I wonder if she's gonna go Asclepius next item. Actually, wait, hold on. How does Asclepius work with Scylla?
What's the green bow even do now if anti-heal isn't in the game?
It is now anti-shield, does a bit more damage, and can pass through walls. Like, it rips apart shields. Actually, yeah, as physical damage. So it doesn't affect Hecate's shield, I would assume.
Oh, that I was doing something.
You're good, you're good. Actually, it says just minus 50% shield, so I don't know how that would work against Hecate's shield. Wukong did use the ult to get away, but is now stuck in the cage with Odin. Odin did get some decent damage going, but Wukong does still get out for free. Meanwhile, Royal Jesters are shoving up the rest of the lane. Typhoon out from Susan for some reason.
Might have been a fat finger.
Well, he does clip the Agni at least as he came out of tower line. Stampede going to be the next item from the support Scylla. I mean, Stampede is just a good support item. I'm curious where the rest of it's going to
Stampede lately.
I've actually been finding a lot of value in doing Leviathans, Yogis, Regrowth. Because, especially on something like the Bracken, where autos are part of your kit innately, you just constantly stack it up more and more, and your 1 gives you the movement speed, so it and Yogis is 1% extra HP per second. And your 2 can give you the burst movement speed if you really need it, in addition to your 1. Like, just that plus Spartan Flag, you're never at a loss for percent HP during laning. Talking, of course, from a sports standpoint. Though you could run those items in solo lane as well, depending on your matchup. Now, people tell me that mid
Clearly it
Wukong,
should
when
be
you're going
support World
full
Stone Scylla.
int, that you're supposed to stay in bull form come late game. You're supposed to auto attack when people walk up at you. Should you not also go nimble ring if you're full int? So that way you actually get some benefits.
I'm not sure, man. I mean, it makes sense when you say it out loud, but who knows how it would play out in practice.
I mean, either that or
Why
you
do
go
people run
poly.
Aegis on Wukong now?
I don't usually see poly either. Right tower does go down. Well, you're looking to get some traction with the Susan, but Susan does not want to fight him 1v1.
Phoenix is under attack.
Why do people run Aegis on Wukong? It's because they're cowards. Also, this Wukong is full int and not a tank at all, so. There are only 2 reasons to run Aegis on a tank, in my opinion. Because you are not a tank, you are going full damage, as you should not be in your role. Or you are fighting as a... or fighting against an executes. And if you are the former, then I say that you are a coward, because I do not like full damage solo laners. If you have below 220 of each prots, you are not a solo laner. You are just a beat stick with extra steps. It is just a matter of poke back and forth for these teams. Scylla does dash in, looking for the Hoi Yi, but instead it's actually going to be the Kraken taking heavy amounts of damage and gets picked up. Sunbreaker out, not finding a target. Poseidon ult tries to land onto the Susanoo, but does not find anything. And it is just going to be Royal Jesters running it down. Hekate trying her best to dance away from the Hoi Yi, but Crush from Scylla is going to clean it up. Tito coming in and picking up the Wukong. It is going to be a 1v3 now. I do kind of want to see some more percent HP items out of the CP Otters here, especially for this Scylla. Fire Giant is going to be started up as the Artemis is back up. Scylla is tanking, and Tito is here. No ult currently available yet. Dash in from Scylla, hits the root. Half health on the Scylla. And they're just going to let her walk away and regen passively. Fire Giant dropped at 6k. Poseidon does get the ultimate off. Scylla using the ultimate for CC immunity. Artemis does use the beads, is not able to get out. Typhoon unable to confirm the damage, but the tick damage from Hekate will. Odin chasing out Susan. Damage along with Poseidon and the Hoi Yi able to clean him up. Agni very low, very close to getting picked off there. Scylla ultimate nearly back up. Mantle of Discord was her final pickup. Odin 1v1ing the Scylla, but unfortunately does have more incoming coming in. Dash in from the Scylla, misses the root, hits the slow. Take damage from Kate is good. And with the help of the ult, it does force the beads and then the life of the Odin. Speaking of Nimble, it is actually going to be Nimble last item for the Poseidon, it looks like. Dash from the Scylla, able to get her out of harm's way. Eggs still sitting on the ground over by the Fire Giant pit. No one's picked them up just yet. Chip damage from that Wukong is quite good because they are full int, in addition to that Soul Reaver. Poking the Bracken is quite easy for him because he's chipping away at that HP rapidly. Agni does pick up the eggs. Bracken goes in, drops the ultimate, forces the beat out of Kavika. Ult from Wukong force. Tito picks up 2. Aegis out of the Wukong. Volnir does secure the Fire Giant. Dagger does go onto the support Scylla. Oyi dodges 1. Dodges 2. Dodges 2 out of the 3 Scylla ults, but Akate does get picked up in the meantime. Now, there is plenty of HP on this Scylla. Let's see if she can actually get away. Does not manage to pick up the bubble, but she is able to stun out with the Mantle of Discord. Jumps over the wall. Gets the root cripple onto the Odin. And is dancing around under the tower. This might be enough to force us into a game 3. Gold Fury was looking to be the call, but with the Chaos coming up, it is going to be a reverse pull. As now the Royal Jesters are grabbing the... What happened to the camera there? Okay. Royal Jesters are now pulling the Gold Fury without any contests, because no one is stepping up from the opposite team. Bumba's Dagger and Nimble's Ring both finished for the Poseidon. Now, if he walks up to anyone, he can just auto them down instantly. For example, there's one. And he gets picked up in return, unfortunately. Bracken does zone off 3 enemy team members. Knock up good from the Wukong. Ultimate from the Wukong as well. Gets enough damage going. Typhoon very slow, not enough damage or damage at all. Scylla hits 2 of 3 ult, or misses 2 out of 3 ults, rather. Agni cleans up Teddy. On the Susan. Dagger is good. Took a while there for the Scylla. Artemis just walking at the Phoenix. They are able to get her before the Phoenix goes down, but it is very close. Only 200 HP left on that Phoenix. Odin chasing out, trying to get something going. Unlike that Scylla, he does not have enough HP regen. Now, if Chaos is going to confirm it, they could pick up a Pyro, which would instantly grab the left lane Phoenix. Unfortunately, it does not look like they're going to be doing so. Scylla nearly picked off with the help of the Poseidon ult. The Kate ult does throw Bracken over to the side. is going to be a CP Otters picking up the Pyromancer. Looking at some action against this Artemis, is able to out-damage the Tusky that was running at him. 1 HP left on the Artemis. I don't know if you can catch up to this Artemis once she hits that TP. It is going to be a no, because she's going to start backing and gets the back off. Bracken running up the tower, taking it for his allies, and that tower is going to go down without any issues. And the entire CP Otters team is going to back up here. CP Otters do outsecure the Fire Giants. It's trading, unfortunately, their jungle and their support for that. But they do pick up the Hecate, trading out soon the Scylla and the Odin. Iveca on this Artemis going to town on the enemy team. Meanwhile, Wukong does pick up 2, and that is going to be a full wipe. There are 3 Phoenixes currently up. Can they burst them down fast enough? Or are they going to go for 1 and just end? The Wukong does not have Poly, instead having Ancient Signet as their 3rd item. I would actually prefer the Ancient Signet to be removed for a Poly, especially with how high int you have on this Wukong. Aegis forced onto the Wukong just to take out this tower. With the amount of cooldown that you have, I would actually consider ulting and using that clone to help take down that left Phoenix, but no, you leave the left Phoenix standing. Out of the 2 of them, I would be grateful that the mid Phoenix was the one taken and not the left Phoenix as CP Otters. Pyromancer is picked up by the Artemis, by herself. Running at the Scylla, she does get out for free with the help of her mantle. Odin does catch out the Hecate, but Hecate gets her ult off, taking the Odin with her. Odin does get picked out. Ultimate from Bracken. Walls off 2. Unfortunately, Scylla was able to walk out. Scylla gets 1. Tusky walking out with the enemy. Does pull them apart. Oyi pulling the Artemis with a bait into a corner to get those ricochets going. Tito, meanwhile, looking for blood. Agony dancing around, trying to juke long enough, and Tito is able to pick up 1. Tito dashes after the Scylla. And Wukong does have enough damage to pick up the Wukong. Or to pick up the Hoyu, sorry. Tito cleaning up the Wukong in revenge. Scylla is coming back. Tito seems to know it. Sentinel just off the mark, unable to get anything substantial off it. Now, I will say there are no Staphymyrtons, no Jotun, or sorry, not Staphymyrton. Staphymyrton is a pickup over Spear of Deso or the Sakate. So very interesting pickup, and I do like to see it, especially since it's a recent buff, removing 40 seconds from the internal cooldown. You ever just talk so long that words lose all meaning to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah. Yeah. You just at that point you just hate to hear the sound of your voice. It's like
I
how many
always
fucking
hate the sound of
British
my
bro?
voice. I always hate the sound of my voice. But the nice thing is, when I'm gaming, usually the sound of the game does tune me out, or I have other people to tune me out. And then I get to go and listen to myself on the recording from YouTube as I edit it. Yippee! So it's extra fun for me. It does take the wind spread to get away, throwing down a ward. Now it's just a game of warding and who blasts apart who first. Kraken running at the Scylla. Neither of them worse for wear. Wukong does pick up the Warhorn. Okay, I wish that they made the Warhorn still give the permanent CDR. Just like the one CDR, not two like it used to. Because they made it so it's good to immediately get, but it's also should be good to have in the long run. So that way, if you Bracken getting completely blown up by the enemies. I appreciate him trying to get aggressive. But beads out from the Susan against the Poseidon. Oh, Wukong goes in immediately, gets some poke damage with the Rui Jingu Bang. And that clone will act as a mobile ward as it runs at the enemy team. Pop-Out Giant is pulled once again. 10k left. Unless they drop it. They seem to have dropped it. Susan picked up in the Odin cage. Wukong taken out as well. It's a follow-up. Tusky comes out and does get 2-3 stuns. Damage not enough following up that Tusky. And the support of the CP Otters in mid lane, the Royal Jesters do trade themselves out. The Suicide Pact. Fuck, I shouldn't say that on YouTube. I'm used to saying these things on Twitch, but I'm gonna get hit for that.
Well, rip.
Yeah, well, I'm not monetized anyway.
Your right Phoenix is under attack.
I'm just doing it
Really
for the
gonna do
hate of the
tech for
game.
the money you're never gonna get.
Yeah. And they're just going to ignore the Scylla support with 2 Phoenixes up and just start ripping apart the Titan. Scylla able to hit 2 out of 3, and we are going to game number 3.
Wild.
And we're just going to grab some screenshots. Throw those in the call. There we are. Once again, Scylla support questionable, but not working, I will say. Interesting to watch there. So we are 1-1 in terms of score. We're just waiting for the lobby to come back up. There we are. We are in, and now we are waiting. I am curious the stat distribution on that Scylla support at the end of the game here, so we are going to recreate the Scylla build. Is you yogis breastplate, Genjis, Mantle of Discord, and Onis. Oh, Stampede, Mantle, and Onis. Got it. Stampede. Discord. I wish that they like sorted the items by price or something, because they're
Yeah.
not sorted in any way at all.
Or at least alphabetically.
That too, that would also be nice. And that does give Scylla. Ugh. Okay, let me. I have to. Mm, I literally have to ban the word Discord on Kick because of how many bots there are. That's how bad it is. Ugh. Yeah. Which is unfortunate, but unfortunate, but whatever. Mm. Now it is going to be a switch up of sides with Royal Jesters now taking on Order. Alright, we are just waiting. What's the difference between an orgy and a gangbang? It's PvE versus PvP. Interesting. I love when people send me things. Alright. Actually, while we're on it, let me... So... what's my mouse called? Yeah, there we go. So what is this button called? This is... Nation 8. And then key combination of 9. Okay. Okay. So if that's good, then... Alright. I'm going to go use the bathroom. Okay, start pick some bands. I believe in you. Damn, it really didn't start? Okay. Audio streams bitrate is lower than the recommended bitrate. Recommended to use an audio of 128 kilobits. Of that is not an option that I'm able to do. Oh well. We shall see. Game number 3, Cyberpunk Otters versus the Royal Jesters. Aladdin Uller Hoyi banned by the Jesters, Umoja, Scylla, and a mysterious third member. They really take their time with this third pick on Chaos, don't they? You have to remember that whatever you don't ban here, they can first pick here, but then you get 2 picks of whatever they didn't grab. There's going to be a Kali ban. Now, I'm glad to see that Hoi got banned this game. There's going to be Agni topic. It's going to be followed up by an Odin Merlin. Merlin having been banned out the past 2 games. Curious if we'll get to see the performance reason as to why he usually is. It really is easier to double cast, as in cast with an additional person here with me. Sobek Wukong picked up. Curious if that actually will be a Wukong mid lane. Actually, no. What I would be more curious about is I would rather see a Hecate aspect going up against this Merlin. If you get your cooldown low enough, you could have that up near consistently. Ventos being hovered. And they took their time with the lobby. So unfortunately, they will have to remake. That is very unfortunate.
Andrew said, Yami, when will we ever play again?
I don't know, Andrew. Depression makes me. You know how Minecraft is like a seasonal thing? I just haven't been in a Minecraft mood. And nothing else really grabs my attention as much as Minecraft used to. And I just do this just because this is what I do out of habit rather than anything out of sheer love. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm loving it more because I'm doing the casting, and it is a lot more engaging, but
It doesn't need to be Minecraft. I just miss playing with you.
yeah. The issue is literally I don't know what else to play is the thing.
Fair but still.
All right. All right. that is going to be First Blood going over to the CP Otters. My mistake. I didn't think that they would go for a invade, let alone on the solo side. Let alone it be successful. Credit to that, going over to Tito in the jungle. Alright.
Minions have spawned.
Everyone is in their right roles. Good, good, good. Surprised to see a Geb out of the lineup here. Guess the Geb is a counter to the Fenrir ult. I guess and to the Sobek pluck as well, as long as you're holding the shell correctly. Alright, so let me put this side, and we can focus on the action. Again, sorry for missing the 5-man rotation in the solo lane. The trees are an army once again. And so it's looking and does secure the red buff over in the mid lane. Balance good from Thanatos in order to prevent the Brutalize beats out for the Agni stun. Is able to hit the scythe. Brutalize does come up. Agni does get the Thanatos after Thanatos does get... Agni does go down to the Merlin. Sorry, Merlin got both of those kills. My mistake. I will say, Jensen really does seem to like this Wukong, having played it 3 out of 3 games so far. Andrew, try and find a game, and we'll see if we can play something. Merlin able to get plenty of damage out on this Agni. Boy Kissing Lane has Voice Kissing. Thanatos, with the help of Merlin, does get a kill. Credit going to the Merlin. Thanatos is hanging around over in the duo lane. Does mit the scythe onto the Sobek. Look, onto the Sobek is good. Thanatos is still here to party, looking for action onto the Sobek. Thanatos does ult onto the Sobek, and is going to go to Tito for credit. Ah, yes, Fenrir came still bugged. Just so jarringly different. Just, okay. Beats out from the Thanatos as he's PvPing level 5 versus 2 level 4s and a level 5. Thanatos not able to make it out. But CP Otters are able to recollapse onto this to avenge their comrade. Vika being the sacrificial lamb of the group. Boys Kissing Lane has Boys Kissing. Sobek does not have Sunder yet. I don't think they seem to know that yet. Does appear to be a Sunbeam Bow from the Artemis coming up with a Bloodforge for the Jingwei. Mystical Mail for both the support and solo of the CP Otters. Regrowth and Devos for the Royal Jesters, respectively. Otto from Kavika does help clean up the Jingwei. Ugh. This is really hard with just me by myself. I'm still gonna do it, it's fun. Meanwhile, over in the solo lane, Wukong does ult after getting ganked by the Thanatos. Damage is very good. Onto the Odin. Fenrir tries to make something happen, but unfortunately not going to be able to do so. Sobek does have the ultimate. Sunder is used. Ultimate is good from Killcam Kenny on the Sobek on to Craze the Jeb. Thanatos and Fenrir are exchanging some blows with Wukong here to add a little bit more damage. Thanatos does in fact go down. Gold Fury being picked up by the Royal Jesters here, with both the Jingwei and the Merlin rotating in to try and defend. Jingwei does try and reconfirm, cancels the ult. Kavika still able to secure. Shell popped out Kavika. Killcam Kenny 1 HP. Pluck is able to get him away. And that will be all she wrote for the Gold Fury fight. Now, this Odin is pushed up a bit, but I don't think that Fenrir wants to come and join a fight. Merlin, not getting his back up, did go Chronos' first item, likely going to be a poly follow-up. Link down on the Merlin. And Sobek does get credit for the kill. Thanatos goes and beads forced on both mid and jungle here. Sobek does ult, but with the help of Agni, does get the execute. Vika being gangbanged by 2 with the help of Ultimate and Sunder. They don't seem to have enough movement speed, and that ability landed right inside the wall. Now let's see if they turn around here. They don't seem to know that they have friends coming right out of the woods. Fenrir choosing to go for the Jeb first. Jingwei looking for action onto the Artemis, however, might have signed her own death warrant since she already used the dash. Ults into tower, continues into the tower. Credit going to Killcam Kenny once again, 5-1 on this support Sobek. Fenrir trying to make some magic happen over in the jungle, instead gets turned on by the Merlin. Thanatos rotating over, likely going to get a free ult here.
I do believe I'm in need of a rest.
Possibly even a free scythe, depending on the aim. Aim is not there. Thanatos does not opt to go for the ult instead. Odin now rotating over towards the mid lane. Odin does get the ult up. Thanatos does get picked off. Sobek ult and Wukong ult both use. Geb uses the ult to counter the monkey. Geb does get picked up by the brutalize of the Fenrir. A little bit of gold doesn't hurt. Gold Fury is still down for another minute. The particles from Merlin's Ice 2 just flying everywhere? Interesting. Look good on Sobek onto Thanatos. Thana does get up into the air. Will be able to make it out for free. Merlin poking at the Wukong, but Wukong is doing a good job zoning while they're trying to take the gold for, but it is going down extremely slow. They're just trying to bait them in. Pluck is good onto the Geb. Knockback into the team. Unfortunately, that Geb does ult, gets 2 stuns, but still does go down. Timer on the Odin, able to secure. Unfortunately, does lose his life in the process. Lost 3. But you did get the Gold Fury. Love to see the game that I'm watching. Drop the Pyromancer as Killcam Kenny is getting a bit low. Inferno possibly lagged out there? Question mark? I believe they were the Scylla. No, it wasn't Inferno that was the Scylla of last game. Feeds out from the Thanatos. Ultimate was used onto the Fenrir instead. Sunder from the Jeb used on 2. They will be able to just walk away. Wukong is getting excited and going in. Bonk onto the Thana, but unfortunately Killcam Kenny does go down. Agni barely able to get the damage out. Does not have a follow-up stun to interrupt that dash on the Jeb. Ult out from the Odin onto the Wukong. Does he have enough damage while he's in the cage? No, he does not. So lifesteal is back into play. And they do trade out under the T1 in the solo lane. Interesting going for Umbral's second item. Typically, I would think to go Sanguines beforehand just for that added strength. But he does appear to be going Sanguines next. And I gotta say, I do like the We Heal build going on in the solo lane. Alright. Now I got picked up for the CP Otters. Killcam Kenny just standing there menacingly. Did get an erosion for this Geb. Sobek did ult and doesn't even need to because the damage is good enough from the rest of the team. Crit now coming out from this Jingwei. I gotta say, I haven't seen crit come out of a god, at least in OSL, in a hot minute. I could be wrong on that, actually, now I'm thinking about it. I think I'm exclusively wrong about that. Because I think last game, they had a last item Deathbringer on Kavika. Ult forced out from Jingwei, but the tower is down and you have no friends around you. Scratch that. Praise is here, but you dash away from your ally. Understandably, there was enemies in between the two. The Thanatos is getting worked to this game. Typically, that is not how this matchup goes. Fenrir beats Thana. Or sorry, Thana beats Fenrir, Fenrir beats Loki, Loki beats Thana. Is how the Triangle of Jungle usually goes.
The Pyromancer has arrived.
It does try to get out. Odin Cage is good, but the damage is just enough to put Tokam Kenny back to the threshold. Agni gets picked up as a souvenir. Beats out early from the Fenrir. Using the wind sprites, they are able to chase him deeper into the jungle, and they do get the kill going to Tito. I do believe that is going to be a regrowth coming up next for Tito. And I actually do like that from a Jungle Thanatos. Demi, if you're watching, I like the singular defense item on the Thanatos, not a full defense Thanatos. Now, back over on Kokim Kenny, he is split building out the asset, it would seem. Robek is looking for a little bit of action. Can he get in range? No, he cannot. Luck is good onto the Geb. Use the beads while in mid-air. Interesting choice. That is a good separation. Thanatos looking for a target to go on. Does decide to go onto Kavika. With the help of a Odin, was able to clean it up. Unfortunately, Tito does pay the price in the meantime. Wukong's... Oh, it's Wukong clone, my bad. Again, HP bars on clones. Alright.
Your middle tower is under attack. The Pyromancer has arrived.
I do love that my bot is constantly yelling at the fucking bot accounts that are hitting me on kick. Anyway, does use the old Geb ult as well. Ugh. Sorry, I just have a lot of bots that are pestering me on the side. Ingray was picked up there, and it looks like Odin will be a nice consolation prize as well, unless he gets out in time, but doesn't look like with the help of the Agni's burn damage. Kavika walking it up mid. Looks to be a Fire Giant pull now. Back ult is able to confirm onto the Jeb. You know, Tito just getting cleaned up by the Fenrir. To be fair, this is a defensive, quite heavily defensive Fenrir, who's also going item proc. So all they need to do is land a Brutalize and channel their protections, and they are doing just fine. Crit Hydra's coming out of this Jingwei. Unfortunately, no stacks on the Rage just yet. Well, over in the right lane, Sobek is tanking quite a bit of damage. Odin is stepping up. Tusky does come out to help the ally, but Kavika is completely out of mana. Meanwhile, Wukong does use some sort of cloud in order to get out. Let me actually check the player damage. And yep, that sounds about right with the Merlin being on top. Wolf Fury seems to be the next call. Actually, yeah, let me just straight up. No protection. That's fine. I'm not doing TTS on Cake just yet.
Your team has destroyed a left enemy Phoenix.
Movement is able to just blow apart this Phoenix as the Wukong was tanking. Beads pulled from the Jeb off the Fenrir ult. Looking back at the split build, it was actually a hard turn into the spectral armor, and I do like to see that out of the support, recognizing that that threat of the Jingwei is quite high. Actually, if I go ahead and check, does her 2 still give crit chance? It does. I did remember correctly with that. Sadly, besides the support, this Jingwei is bottom damage out of the entire lobby. Now, I was always told that Fenrir going item proc is... And this is just something that someone has said to me. I do not believe this. I'm just parroting this back before anyone gets mad. I was told that Fenrir going item proc into full defense is a noob stomping pickup. But it apparently seems to be working at high levels as well. Especially against this. Not directly the Thanatos, but into their comp. Let's chase out the Jingwei, it chases out the Jeb. If Flicker is down on Merlin, it chases him down as well. Feeds Force onto the Odin. Go back, built it as a countermeasure. Meanwhile, over in the mid lane, Thana is getting worked. He does go down for free. Wukong does not manage to pick up, except that he does, with the help of the Rui Jingyu Bang at the end. Vika able to pick up Odin in the last second, and that will be game number 3, going to the Royal Jesters. Alright. Get my screenshots. And that will be all for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all so much for coming out. And we will see you... yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. I'm gonna try and get more consistent with the streaming since I'm out of a job, but yeah, we'll